ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ Namaste, all of you. Welcome back to a brand new academic session in Tamaham Vande. We have been studying under the guidance of our great Mahatmas, our Acharyas, Poojya Swami Dayananda Saraswathi, and our dear Guru, Swami Paramarthananda. Various texts that are so meticulously chosen as our syllabus by Poojya Gurudev, Swami Chinmayananda, Poojya Swamiji, Swami Dayananda Saraswathi, and handed down to our dear Guru, Swami Paramarthananda. Over the years, last 2 years, 2.5 years, almost it's going to be 3 years now, we have studied texts like the Bhaja Govindam, then we looked at Pujya Swamiji's book, valuable book, The Value of Values. And then we went through Swami Paramarthananda's invaluable lectures on Introduction to Vedanta. Lectures that he based on the primer text Tattva Bodha. An important treatise that gives the spiritual aspirant a bird's eye view, a roadmap of the journey to be undertaken. Invaluable lectures, Introduction to Vedanta. And then based on Swami Paramarthananda's guidance, I began sharing his teachings on Adi Shankaracharya's great work, Viveka Chudamani. And parallelly, we have been studying Shrimad Bhagavad Geetha. Presently, in these sessions, we are together exploring chapter 2 of Shrimad Bhagawad Geetha through the pages of Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati's Gita Home Study Course. Chapter 2 is titled Sankhya Yoga, the topic of knowledge. Many of you have been receiving these capsules, as I have chosen to name them, through our WhatsApp group, which is called Tammaham Vande. I hope you have benefited from these capsules, and I also fondly hope that it has spurred you on to listen to Swamiji's lectures, online lectures that are available on the yogamalika.org website, Swamiji's website. Swamiji, like all our acharyas, says that we must share this wonderful spiritual wisdom that has been coming down the Guru Parampara as a pravaha, flowing down without any break for eons and eons. It is because of Ishvara's grace and the grace of our Guru Parampara that we are able to access this systematic teaching even today. In the 21st century, we must be grateful to both Ishvara and our illustrious Guru Parampara, isn't it? Yes, we must. Bhagavad Gita, as we all know, is a moksha shastra. Moksha shastra. A shastra, a teaching that can once and for all, when systematically studied, important, when systematically studied under a competent acharya, Shrimad Bhagawad Geetha has the capacity to break asunder all the knots of samsara and set us free here and now. There's nothing posthumous about it. It is something that can be experienced. It is pratyaksha. Millions have benefited from the study of Shrimad Bhagawad Geetha and have enjoyed Jivan Mukti while living, liberated while living, and continued to be liberated after the drop of this mortal coil. Videha Muktas. Bhagavad Gita has this capacity. It is the medicine. It is the aushadham for samsara rogaha. And our acharyas are the doctors. They are the bhishak. If only we surrender. There are 4 stages that need to be undergone before this teaching becomes relevant. First of all, we need to know that we are samsaris. That we must know. That's a very big discovery. We also need to know that we by ourselves cannot sort it out, cannot remedy it by ourselves. This helplessness, discovering this helplessness, is also an important step. The first step is to discover samsara. The emotional sufferings, not the physical sufferings, but the emotional upheavals that one goes through, needs to be discovered acutely, clearly. The second step is to know clearly that I cannot do it all myself. I need guidance. I definitely need guidance. For which I need a guide. If I need guidance, I need a guide, right? And I need a guide who is live, who I can interact with, with whom, him or her, I can share my intimate thoughts and feelings. Without being left with the feeling that I will be taken advantage of. Someone in whom I can confide confidently, who can be my confidant. So I need to discover this need for a guide. This is a big discovery. So step number 1 is to acutely discover samsara. Step number 2 is to discover my helplessness. Step number 3 is to discover the need for a competent acharya. An acharya who has been there and come back, who knows the roadmap, who knows what it is all about, who knows the effort that needs to be plowed in on the part of the student, because he himself was a student, right? He is a Shrotriya Brahmanishta Acharya, meaning Shrotriya, the word Shrotriya means he was a disciple of his Guru. And by virtue of being a disciple, like Swami Chinmayananda says, a disciple is always disciplined. So, by virtue of being a disciple, not only of being a disciple, but he has got the teaching from his Guru. And therefore, he is a Brahmanishta. He is teaching, he is capable of teaching what Brahman is, because he is teaching what he himself is. He is not looking at Brahman or moksha as a third entity. It is only such a guru, such an acharya who can guide us effectively. So, the need for a guide, such a guide, is the third step. And the fourth, an important step, is to surrender. To surrender. To this guide unconditionally. Unconditionally. That's the word. No one is saying that one should not be rational, but our rational thinking must not go beyond a point. There's a lot of shraddha involved. I must submit to the words of the Guru, of the Acharya, and to the words of the Shastra, and give both of them, both the Guru and the Shastra, the required benefit of the doubt. If you have any doubts about their teaching or their presentation, set them aside and listen with an open mind, with a clean slate. You are always allowed to ask your questions after a concerted and listening attentively for a length of time. After a concerted effort of listening, you are allowed, our acharyas do allow us to ask questions. If at all there are any questions that remain in one's mind after listening to the teaching. So listen with an open mind. So surrender is the fourth step, fourth and final step. Surrender to the guide unconditionally. Put your hands in his hands and move along. Tell him clearly in no uncertain terms that I am your disciple. Sishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. Like Arjuna said at the beginning of the second chapter, in that important shloka, which he says, Karpanya doshopahatas svabhavah pruchhami tvam dharma sammudha yachreyasyan nischitam bruhitan me shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. Arjuna says this in absolutely clear terms. Sishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. Arjuna Sharanagati. Karpanya dosho apahata swabhavaha. Due to my helplessness, due to the deluding intellect, dharma sammudha chetaha, deluded intellect, I don't know what is dharma, what is adharma. I'm totally confused and helpless. Yat shreyaha nishchitam bruhi tanme. Nishchitam, he says. Tell me in no uncertain terms. Tell me clearly what is right and what is wrong. What should I be doing? Arjuna is not looking for any directive, like a doctor writing out a prescription for a set of medicines to be had. He's not saying, tell me a do or a don't. In the last line, he says, Shishyasteham shadhimam. Shadhi means, in Sanskrit, means it is derived from the root shas, to teach, to educate, to communicate. Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. Prapannam, that word prapannam is crucial. I am willing to surrender my ahankara and my mamakara at your lotus feet. Fortunate that Arjuna was. His own charioteer, who was sitting right under his nose, and with whom he has moved around for years together. They have been playmates. Such a Krishna, because of this surrender, is going to change roles. He is going to become Jagat Guru. Not only Arjuna's Guru, but our Guru. Fortunate that Arjuna was, he didn't have to look anywhere else. Shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. Very important step that Arjuna took. He knew that there was something wrong. He didn't run away from the battle. He sat on his chariot, not knowing what to do. Whether to fight or to run away to Rishikesh. So that was another important indication that he was ready, he was willing to listen. That willingness to listen is an important quality on the part of a student. To be a student until I am personally convinced, until the Guru's knowledge becomes mine, until I can claim the Guru's teaching as my knowledge, my wisdom, not knowledge, wisdom. Until such time, I need to be committed and have an open mind all the time. Never shut the door. Never, never ever shut the door. So this is that important background that we need to keep in mind when we study the Gita. These are the 4 points. We must discover the samsari in us. We need to discover helplessness in us that we cannot do it all by ourselves. We need guidance. That is what our Shastras also say. Shastra study should not be done independently. Then we need to discover that we need to have a guide, and lastly, surrender unconditionally to the guide. If we do these four, then the battle is almost won. Because it is only a matter of time. Because with a competent acharya in place, Kaivartakaha Keshavaha, which we saw in the Dhyana Shloka, the sixth Dhyana Shloka, very dramatically picturizes the Mahabharata scene. And at the end it says, such a Rana Nadi was crossed over with the help of that Kaivartakaha Keshavaha. We will also be able to cross over samsara. We will pick up the thread and continue our study of chapter 2 in the upcoming capsules. Hari Om.